How's it going, everybody? This is David Jones, and we're here for Speak On It for Mental Health with Leah Jude. She is an experienced producer. She's been doing this for 10 plus years now, and she has a ton of people that are very interested, passionate about her work, and she's here to tell us her story. So without further ado, this is Leah Jude, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her influence and her role in music.
Hey, how are you guys doing? So I started messing around with GarageBand. If you're unfamiliar, that's one of the digital audio workstations, one of the free ones that comes with Mac, or if you're an Apple fan or whatever. So I started messing around with that in like 2006, and I just had kind of a proclivity for it. I really liked doing it. I picked it up really, really fast. My beats weren't good. But I was proud of them because I was making them. There was something that I was doing myself. I was being creative, and I put it down for a long time. And at that time, I did make a lot of beats. They could not have been leased. They wouldn't have been useful in any way, shape, or form. So I was just making them and kind of putting them away in like a closet and just leaving them. In late 2019, I started getting back into producing. I got Logic and started getting serious about it, started really learning sound better than I was before because I put it down for a long time to work and just live life. And it never occurred to me that producing was something that you could do. To me, it was just a hobby, especially back, because I was 19, 20 or something, 18, 19. Anyway, in late 2019, I released all the old stuff that I had made. So I put this huge just pile of music online. It was mixed reception, but some people really liked it. And I will admit, it was bad. But even if you feel like your music is not something that you like, or you're not very proud of this track, release it anyway, because there's gonna be somebody out there that it connects with. And it still happens now. I make a beat, I'm like, oh, this is not my best work. This just sounds so simple. It sounds, oh, everybody's gonna hate this. And that'll be something everybody's in the DMs like, yo, can I get a discount on the, and
That's amazing. As you were mentioning there, that a lot of people are, kind of attracted to those things that you never thought, something in your mind as the critic, because you're kind of your own. For me, I am my own worst critic when it comes to my work. So when I see something, I'm like, same as you, like that might not have been the best. You never know what can happen with the music that you're creating. And I think that's absolutely amazing that you said that your music is a lot better now because you pushed yourself through and you learned some of the sound design techniques, which leads me into my next question. During this, so you're producing, you're learning, you're going through the steps, and then the pandemic hits. So during this time, how has your passion for music, your passion for creating beats, how has that helped you along the way during this time?
A lot of people, when lockdown first started, I saw it on Facebook all the time, and people like, oh, I'm so bored. Like, I want to go to work, or I want to go to school, and that's saying something. That's how bored I am. I just loved being locked down because I could get so much work done when it came to producing. Similar to you, it seems like we have very similar minds. I'm a sponge. If I'm not learning something from what I'm doing, I don't want to do it. And I've been like that my entire life. So informational YouTube videos, to me, I need a purpose. I only read for that same reason. I need to be getting something. Really, my music is nowhere near perfect. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. I'm not the dullest. My music's not the worst. But the thing is you just have to be comfortable with where you are, where you feel like your development is, whether it's with music or really anything else in your life. And I'm comfortable with where I'm at now because I can hear where I was at 10 years ago and the progress that I've made. So yeah, if Dr. Dre heard my beats now, he'd be like, oh my God, who made that? Like a third grader? But they're going to be like, oh wow, she's been doing that for a while. And then me 10 years ago would be like, oh, that's Dr. Dre. So it's all perspective.
No, absolutely. And I can't even, like I said before, even as you were saying that, it brings me back to the first beat that I made. And I didn't even know that you were supposed to adjust the tempo. So I was stuck in the default tempo of the program for the first 3 months of me even making beats. It's being able to push through and I'm sure you can agree with that, being able to push through. And yes, again, like you said, as a producer, you got this lockdown happening and you start getting excited. So I can appreciate everything that you're saying, absolutely, and I can relate to that. And it actually leads me into my final question. If you knew that this pandemic was going to hit, if you knew that COVID-19 was going to hit, what would you do differently?
I would have been more careful financially. I mean, I'm happy with where I am now, and I wouldn't change anything. But yes, if I could go back and there would be something that I would have changed. I mean, COVID-19 has put everybody in a state of worrying. Can I pay the rent? If I do pay the rent, can I then afford food? And when you're producing, that's not cheap, especially if this is why I learned graphic design. This is why I learned as much marketing as I could, because I didn't want to have to outsource. I have in the past, but I wanted to kind of be and became a one-woman show so that I wouldn't have to depend on other things. And I still have to spend money, no matter what you do. And of course, the client base that I have is also short on money. And this is a frivolous purchase. My beats are not a necessity. What I'm selling is something that's going to be put on the back burner until somebody has the extra money for it. And that can put people who rely on music in, a really stressful situation. But we're all in a stressful situation, because if you were a waitress, you're probably not making too much money right now either. There's just the normal stresses and things like that. Just got to keep your head up and try to just keep pushing through, because everything gets better. This is going to pass. It doesn't feel like it now, but it will. And hopefully we'll be better off for it.
I couldn't have said it better myself. This is one of those really challenging times. There already was a very limited amount of support for musicians when it comes to financials, when it comes to events, when it comes to things like that. There was a limited amount of support for those musicians. And then now, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, it seems that all support has been now cut off. People aren't getting access unless they have money. They're not getting access to the same things that they would have had access to before to help them further their career, to be able to support them. I can appreciate people like yourself that were able to push through this and kind of keep going no matter what happens. This is Leah Jude, ladies and gentlemen. She is a producer. She's an engineer. She's been doing this for a while, and we love what she's doing. So we're going to be promoting her links. We're going to be sharing her work so that you can check out some of her stuff too. If any of your artists out there, you got to check out Leah Jude's beats. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for being a part of this. And again, this is Speak On It for Mental Health. Take care.